With France over borders appear to be becoming a common theme following our departure from the European Union. Here to discuss more about these issues is Sarah Overton, who's a researcher at UK in a Changing Europe. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, neither side appears willing to give any ground despite the tragedy in the Channel on Wednesday. 27 people died, 17 men, 7 women, one of them was pregnant, and 3 children. Really was tragic scenes. But then this meeting on Sunday, Priti Patel isn't even invited to, and she's quite an important person to be there to represent the UK. Is there really any hope for progress?
I mean, I think it's certainly very true to say that the current situation has really focused minds. The 27 deaths on the crossings that we saw this week, that was the highest number of deaths on record. So I think there's certainly a need for all parties to be working together on joint solutions. There's already a strong history between the UK and France of working together on migrant crossings. So starting in 2003 with the Le Touquet Agreement, and then since then a number of bilateral accords. And recently in July this year, we saw the UK and France both express joint commitment to work together further, with the UK giving £55 million towards joint efforts. That itself as well has also been a matter of dispute between the UK and France. So the UK argued earlier this year that the number of crossings was still increasing, and France also responded saying that they hadn't received any of the £55 million that had been committed. So I think there's certainly on both sides of the equation here, both the UK and France, there are tensions towards the other party. And I think, it's very much a situation now of seeing what can be done to move forward together.
Of course, in all of this, there needs to be goodwill, doesn't there? And there's such an erosion of goodwill at the moment between the two nations, not least because of Brexit. There's a view, certainly on this side of the Channel, that perhaps we're being punished for leaving the European Union. But also, we have to remember in all of this that Emmanuel Macron is fighting an election in France. He wants to be seen as taking a hard stance on this because he's trying to fight to win over the right, isn't he, of the French?
I think certainly there are a number of ongoing issues between the UK and France where France has the impression that the UK is not negotiating in good faith. So be that on the Northern Ireland Protocol or on the matter of fisheries, with licenses being allocated to French fishermen by the UK as well. Also earlier this year, we saw the AUKUS agreement between the UK, Australia and the US, which was not well received by France, as France had previously had an agreement to provide nuclear-powered submarines for Australia. So it's certainly true that the current situation of dispute between the UK and France on migrant crossings sits within this broader situation of strained relations between both countries. And of course, both the UK and France have domestic audiences. So as you mentioned, there is a French election upcoming. Also in the UK, we've got the Nationality and Borders Bill and the promises that the Conservative government made when they were elected to government to deal with migration in the UK. So there's certainly on both sides here, both have their own narratives as well.
How much has our relationship changed post-Brexit? I mean, there was quite loaded words from Gabriel Attal, who's the government spokesperson, French government spokesperson. He says that the moment Boris Johnson has a problem, he considers it Europe's responsibility for them to solve. How much of that do you think is true?
I think there is a situation now where the UK and France both want to deal with this issue. It is also, as you mentioned, impacted by Brexit, in the sense that previously the UK was party to the Dublin regulation, under which it could participate in returns to other EU member states. Since leaving the EU, the Dublin regulation has ceased to apply to the UK, which means that the UK currently doesn't have any formal mechanism for returns to EU states. So there is certainly an extent to which the EU may be involved in these discussions, but as we've seen so far, there is a reluctance from a number of EU member states to agree bilateral agreements with the UK on returns. The general preference would be on a UK-EU returns agreement, but when that will occur, if it will occur, is still very unclear.